What's up everybody, Brad here. In this video, I'll be reviewing the SVS Prime Pinnacle tower speakers, as well as talking about the Prime Center, Prime bookshelves, and the PB2000 Pro subwoofer. Sound good? Let's get into it. I do want to give a big thanks to the folks over at SVS for sending me the speakers and subwoofer for review. Now with that said, SVS did not pay me anything, they didn't sponsor me, they didn't tell me what to say, and they had zero involvement in the production or recording of this review. The views and opinions in this video are my own and come from my personal experiences using the speakers in this video. Now before we dive in, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing if you haven't done so already, as I post new home theater and gaming related content every single week. Also, if you'd like to help support the channel for free, please check out my Amazon affiliate links in the description below. And if you're interested in any of the products I talk about in this video, as well as some other SVS products, I'll leave links in the description below as well if you'd like to check those out. Now with that out of the way, let's get into the review. Starting out with the tech specs, and the Prime Pinnacles are really impressive. On the front, they feature a 1-inch aluminum dome tweeter, a 5¼ inch mid-range driver, and 3 6.5-inch woofers. Around the back, you'll find 3 2-inch ports for each of the 6.5-inch drivers on the front, and 5-way binding posts on the bottom. They have a frequency response of 29 Hz to 25 kHz, an impedance of 8 ohms, a sensitivity rating of 88 decibels, and a recommended amp power of 20 to 300 watts. And finally, they're available in both black ash and piano gloss black finishes. Build quality on the Prime Pinnacles is excellent as well, but honestly, that's been the case with every single SVS speaker and subwoofer I've ever checked out. They do have a premium feel to them that is only eclipsed by SVS's own Ultra Series speaker line. The Pinnacles weigh in at just over 57 pounds each, and while pretty hefty, they're sleek looking enough that they won't stand out too much in your living room. They do include spiked feet on the bottom, but since I put them on risers, I simply removed those. They also have a cloth speaker grill and the same pin/cup retention system featured on their other speakers, and those are extremely sturdy. The 5-way binding posts on the Prime Pinnacles are pretty much standard across all speakers at this point. I use banana plugs for connections, but you have other options for hookup as well. In terms of overall setup, they're the same as any other speaker in regards to placement, although I did put them on speaker risers, as when I put them on the floor, the tweeters were a bit lower than ear height. Now this is due to the height of my couch and shouldn't be an issue for most people. I do want to take a moment and talk about speaker timbre matching, as I think it's very important, especially if you're considering upgrading maybe your left and right front channels and want to keep your existing center channel speaker. Now initially, SVS sent me the Prime Pinnacles and the PB2000 Pro subwoofer to review. Now for reference, my system consists of the Andrew Jones Pioneer speakers, which have soft dome tweeters in them. So when I got the Prime Pinnacles, I replaced my front left and right floor standing Pioneer speakers with the Prime Pinnacles, and I left my Pioneer center channel where it was and just thought, you know what, I'll be okay. Well, this created a severely mismatched front soundstage, especially in timbre, because none of them are timbre match. Obviously, the Pioneer is a soft dome tweeter to the Prime Pinnacle's aluminum dome tweeter. So I reached out to SVS and said, hey, is there anything you can do? Is there something else you can send me? And they were super awesome and sent me the Prime Center and Prime bookshelves to complete a timbre match 5.1 system. My point here is that if you're looking to upgrade, I'd strongly recommend either budgeting for the Prime Center to go along with the Prime Pinnacles so your front soundstage is timbre matched, or simply taking your current center channel out of the equation and letting the Prime Pinnacles act as a phantom center until you can afford the Prime Center. Now the surround and Atmos channels are less obvious if they're not timbre matched exactly to the front channels, so those can typically be upgraded last. Now let's talk about sound quality. Initially, I set the Prime Pinnacles up as a stereo pair and ran with that configuration for about a week, mainly because I wanted to get an idea of what these speakers sounded like just by themselves. No EQ, no subwoofer, but just using basic level adjustments while using the direct mode in my Denon X2300W receiver. And let me tell you, they did not disappoint. The level of detail and clarity the Prime Pinnacles have is really and truly impressive, as is the bass response and the overall effortless sound these speakers have. Honestly, there were times that I just simply forgot I was playing games in stereo. Games such as Modern Warfare and Strange Brigade sounded rich and full, with lows, mids, and highs all present, but never fatiguing and never overly harsh. Non-action oriented games like Death Stranding and No Man's Sky sounded equally as good. Bass response was both deep as it was impressive, providing ample low end for speakers without built-in subwoofers. Honestly, every game, movie, or song that I threw at these speakers sounded absolutely amazing for a stereo configuration, and I'd have no problem using the Prime Pinnacles as a stereo pair if that was all I had space for. Now obviously, stereo doesn't compare to a multi-channel configuration for games and movies, so let's go ahead and talk about how the Pinnacles sound when paired with the Prime Center, Prime bookshelves for the surround speakers, and a PB2000 Pro subwoofer. And holy crap, does this system sound awesome! After getting everything set up and calibrated, I ran back through the games I mentioned earlier: Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Death Stranding, No Man's Sky, and Strange Brigade. Now, I won't go into the benefits of a multi-channel system over a two-channel one, as I'm pretty sure you're already aware of that. What I will say is that each speaker in this system, as well as the system as a whole, sounded clean, articulate, and had an overall effortlessness to the sound, with the Prime Pinnacles being the glue and the anchor that tied this whole system together. They really do shine and make your front soundstage sound open and tight at the same time, and retain those same qualities I mentioned when listening to them in a two-channel setup. Just clean, articulate sound that grabs your attention without sounding overly harsh or fatiguing. Now, I will be doing full reviews of both the Prime Center and Prime Bookshelf speakers, as well as the PB2000 Pro subwoofer in separate videos, but I do briefly want to go over my impressions of them. The Prime Center and Bookshelf speakers share the same build quality as the Pinnacles, offer the same finish selections, and are timbre matched as well. They sound fantastic on their own, and the Prime Bookshelves and Center are actually a great starting point for anyone putting a multi-channel system together. The PB2000 Pro subwoofer is an absolute powerhouse, and the amount of clean, articulate bass this thing puts out is staggering for the price. Keep a lookout for the full reviews of the Prime Center and Bookshelves, as well as the PB2000 Pro subwoofers soon. So overall, would I recommend the SVS Prime Pinnacle speakers? Well, if you're in the market and are after a pair of killer sounding reference grade speakers, then definitely check these out. The sound they produce at their price point rivals speakers costing 2 to 3 times as much, and they work well as either a two-channel setup or as part of a multi-channel setup, though you will want to add a subwoofer if you're after deeper bass extension, as well as a matching center channel. Now, they are an excellent value, but they are pretty steep at $1,800 for the pair, especially if you're coming from lower priced entry-level speakers. But if you are coming from entry-level speakers, such as the Andrew Jones Pioneer series or the Polk 60 series, then the Prime Pinnacles are a massive upgrade in terms of overall sound quality and even build quality. So if you're in the market for an excellent pair of floor standing speakers, definitely check out the Prime Pinnacles. If you enjoyed this review and found it helpful, please give it a big thumbs up and lets me know that you appreciate this type of content. Also, if you have any questions about the Prime Pinnacles, home theater, or gaming in general, please leave a comment down below. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one where I try to get my coworker to eat a carrot.